Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sumukascha Yekadantascha Kapilo Gajakarnakaha Lambodharascha Vikato Vignarajo Vinayakaha Dhumaketurganadhyakshaha Palachandro Gajananaha Vakratundaha Surpakarno Herambaha Skandapurvajaha Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopasanteye Yasyat Virada Vaktradhya Parishadhya Parasatam Vignam Nignanti Satatam Vishvaksenam Tamasraye Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheswaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. With Swami's grace, let's continue from where we left off yesterday. We came up to slokam number 7. Sutta Muni is beginning to describe the efficacy and the supreme essentiality, the necessity of Bhagavatam, supreme sacred sweetness and the greatness of this Bhagavatam that he is going to narrate, that he has learned from his own gurus, Vyasa Muni and other rishis, and so he is going to, and also Sukha Muni, and so he is going to now narrate that. Before that, he talks about the greatness, the indescribable greatness of this panacea. It is incorrect to call it as a book. It is incorrect to call it as so many verses, 18,000 verses, divided into so many skandams, Dasama skandam and Ekadasa skandam and all that. These are all our words. We should not get digressed with those, but the thing is a continuous, endless, never-ending stream of sweetness. Nothing but nectarine sweetness. That is what Bhagavatam is. No beginning, no end. You can jump in at any point in time and any place, and you can come out of it any point at any time, sanctified in the process. So he started describing the greatness of this. We came up to slokam number 7. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yogaha Prayojitaha Janayati Asuhu Vairagyam Jnanam Cha Yat Ahaitukam. There is no reason for this. Once you start loving Bhagavan, what comes as a result of this? Janayati, what is produced immediately is Vairagyam and Jnanam. Vairagyam means attachment to the lotus feet of Bhagavan, to attachment to love, and that immediately, instantly, at the same time, simultaneously detaches your mind from all the other things. That Vairagyam, from that comes Jnanam, the knowledge, the true knowledge that each one of us is the same Vasudeva. Slokam number 8. Dharmaha svanushtitaha pumsam vishvaksena kathasu yaha na utpadayet yadi ratim sramayeva hi kevalam. Dharmaha svanushtitaha pumsam vishvaksena kathasu yaha na utpadayet yadi rati sramayeva hi kevalam. The padangal are dharmaha svanushtitaha pumsam vishvaksena kathasu yaha na utpadayet yadi ratim sramayeva hi kevalam. Yaha pumsam, which man, which human being, this dharmaha vishvaksena kathasu. Vishvaksena is who is that? He is Bhagavan. He is the one. See, we have to look at Bhagavan as present in everything, everywhere, at all times, in any way that your mind can even imagine it. It's even beyond that. And with the army, there's so many things are there. Just take, for example, our own body. And medically, those of you who are doctors would know that there are so many ways that there's so many so-called enemies, the bacteria or viruses or whatever you call them, they're all wanting to attack us, right? But how are we protected against that? We give the name immunity. That's the name given by us. But what's exactly happening? That Senai, the army, the protective army that Bhagavan has, right? Every single cell, every single nerve, in our own body, let alone what's happening in the outside world, everything is continuously being protected. Vishwak Senai. And that protection, that protecting entity is Bhagavan. Vishwak Sena. Kathasu, his stories and glories, which is, you have to not only listen to it, but swanushtitaha, the once you start practicing an essence of the love that Krishna demonstrated, the essence of the love and dharma that Rama exemplified, or the phenomenal love that Narasimha, showered on Prahlada. Think about any part of the story, and if I start employing a little bit of that in my life, swa anushtitaha, then I follow that dharma. Yaha, now, who na swanushtitaha, who does not practice, who does not follow, does not learn from it, just, superficially hearing in and nodding his head. No. What happens to him? Even if you don't attach yourself with ratim, with love to what Bhagavan is doing, na ratim swanushtitaha, without love, if you're not following that, not lovingly, if you're not doing that, then utpadayete. What is the result of that? The result is sramayeva. He kevalam. He means certainly. Kevalam, entirely. And what will happen? Sramayeva. Only difficulties. Only difficulties will come. If I don't love God, I run into difficulties. Simple. That is what the Sutta Muni is saying in this. Dharmaha swanushtitaha pumsam vishvaksena kathasu yaha na utpadayet yadi ratim srama evahi kevalam na swanushtitaha. You got to combine it like that. And utpadayet is the result. Utpadayet means produces, the result of. Okay? Ratim means with love. Srama is difficulty. Kevalam means entirely. Okay? Slokam number 9. Dharmasya hi apavargasya na artaha artaya upakalpate na arthasya dharma eka antasya kamaha labhaya hi smrutaha. Now, the number 10 also I will take. 9 and 10, they go together. Number 10. Kamasya na indriya pritihi labha jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignyasa na artaha yascheha karma bihi. Again, 9 and 10 together. Dharmasya hi apavargasya na artaha artaya upakalpate na arthasya dharma eka antasya kamaha labhaya hi smrutaha. Number 10. Kamasya na indriya pritihi labha jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignyasa nartho yascheha karma bihi. The words are dharmasya hi apavargasya na artaha arthaya upakalpate na arthasya dharma eka antasya kamaha labhaya hi smrutaha. Kamasya na indriya pritihi labha jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignyasa nartho yaha cha iha karma bihi. The meaning of this, first let me give you, and then I'll take you to each of the words so that it's clear to you. It's a very beautiful slokam, as other slokams are also. When you say artha, the word that you see several times here, artham means one word is wealth. Artham also means the essence of it. Artha also means what is the palan, what is the reward that's coming from this, right? So there are several meanings of that word, and we will go through each one of those. So for the dharma, what is the dharma I should follow, sir, to obtain moksham? For that dharma, the wealth, the money will not be of any benefit, will not be useful at all. Now, when the moment I attach myself to the dharma that is going to take me to moksham, in that pathway, then what happens to my desires and sense pleasures and worldly pleasures? They also become useless. Now, for my sense pleasures, all the things that I follow, my five senses that I have, the senses of perception, and then using my five senses of action, I keep trying to satisfy the demands of the five senses with which I perceive things. What happens to that? That becomes actually useless, because I can never satisfy the demands and the desires that keep on multiplying. That is the third part, that meaning in this particular, these two slokams that you need to register in your mind. All these sense pleasures that we have with what we perceive, why have they been given? Only to the extent to enable us to lead our life with the body and the mind given to us, just to lead our life. That's all. We should not exceed that. That's the only reason the the senses have been given. Now, what is the meaning of life itself? Why am I living? What is the purpose of my birth? That we must do the inquiry into that. And the purpose of life is not to keep on doing one action after another, endless stream of actions. No. That is not the purpose of life. We've got to inquire into that. So these are the meanings of these two slokams. Now, dharmasya hi apavargyasya. Apavargyasya means ultimate liberation, a point from which there is no return. Paramapadam, ayanam, it is called, the Vedas call it. And that place, these are all words we use, but there is a place which is changeless, constant, always present, and all-knowing, and just by itself. It is there. There is no reason or season for it. Nothing but an ocean, endless ocean of love. And that is a point of no return. Apavargyasya. So, dharmasya hi apavargyasya na artaha. Here, the prosperity, the wealth, everything we seek, they are of no use. Na artaha, artaya upakalpate. See, na artaha means it is of no use. Artaya, the wealth, the prosperity and the material wealth that we all run after, na upakalpate, it does not lead to the apavargasya dharmaha. Okay? Second line. Na arthasya dharma eka antasya kamaha labhaya hi smrutaha. Now, smrutaha is very important. Smrutaha means, in this case, the people who have mastered, who are scholars, who are the knowers of the Smritis, the Vedas, people who know, they say this. This is what Sutta Muni says. He's not saying I'm saying it. All the elders and the people who know, they say all this. So what is the second thing they say? Na arthasya dharma eka antasya kamaha labhaya hi. Now, here, the Artham in this case means the sense pleasures, even the seeking wealth, seeking comfort, whatever else that we go after. For that dharma also, there is a dharma associated with going and earning paycheck and all that. Even if I do that, ekanta say even for that, at the end of it, the labhaya hi na labhaya. It is not of no use. That desire is of no use because it can never be satisfied. Desires can never be satisfied. So whatever we do to satisfy it will be wasted, will be of no use. To putting it in our colloquial English. Third line. Kamasya na indriya pritihi labhaha. The desires do not satisfy the indriyas. The labha means profit, result, but na labhaha, it is of no use. Then why is the indriya pritihi? What is the job of indriyas and the senses of perception and action that I have? Jiveta yavata. You should use the senses, but being gifted to us. They are great gifts, blessed, sacred gifts, only to the extent to enable us to live. Because we cannot live like a piece of log, right? We have to act and we have to do things. Only to the extent we must use the indriyas. Now, jivasya tattva jijnasa. Jivasya. Why am I living? What is the purpose of life? That tattvam, the inquiry. What is the truth behind all this that is happening? Jijnasa. Inquire into that. Very important. Jijnasa. And the very first line in Brahma Sutra starts with that word. Atha jijnasaha. That what is this? The inquiry and the knowledge that I am supposed to seek. We must inquire into that. That is the purpose for which jivasya arthaha, the purpose of life is. Na artho yascheha karma bihi. Na arthaha, not of use. Cha and iha, ear, karma bihi, all actions. All our jivasya na arthaha, the purpose of life is not to do all the activities. Na cha iha karma bihi. Jivasya arthaha na cha karma bihi. It's not to keep on doing all the actions. In fact, we must do the actions in such a way that we become free of actions. And we cannot decouple from the actions ourselves. The actions have to decouple from us. That is a very important truth that one must know. 9 and 10. Dharmasya hi apavargyasya na artaha artaya upakalpate na artasya dharmayeka antasya kamaha labhaya hi smrutaha kamasya na indriya pritihi labhaha jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jijnasa nartho yascheha karma bihi. Slokam number 11. So, this entity, this apavargasya, all the things that we talk about, Krishna and Balarama and all this, what is this? Vadanti tat tattva vidaha tattvam yat jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti Bhagavaniti sabhyate. Vadanti tat tattva vidaha tattvam yat jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti Bhagavan iti sabhyate. Very simple, beautiful truth that is being given. Padangal. Vadanti tat tattva vidaha tattvam yat jnanam advayam brahma iti paramatma iti Bhagavan iti sabhyate. Tattva vidaha, people who know that tattvam. Tattvam means tattvam asi. That tattvam is the truth. You and that are one. There is no difference. That the people who know the truth, who have experienced and become one with the truth, like Ramana Maharishi, for example, right? So we can relate to that. Tattva vidaha, people who know the truth, not the people who study scriptures and recite it and dazzle people with their so-called scholarship. No, nothing with that. We must go to people who really know. Right? Even in modern days, there are people who know, who have experienced Bhagavan and are living with Bhagavan. And Tattva Vidaha Vadanti, what they say about what Tat, that we are talking of our gifts here and all that, that Tattvam, the truth of that, Yet, the truth of which, Jnanam Advayam, no two, it is Ekam only. They know the truth to be one. That knowledge is what we call in English as Advaitic knowledge and all that. No, Advayam, no two, one. That is what Upanishads also say. That's what Vedas also say. Everything says Ekam Sat. Very important to understand. Ekam, that's it. So Tattvam, Yat Tattvam, Jnanam, the knowledge is Advayam. Now, having known that, Tattvavidaha Vadanti, even then they continue to say, Brahma iti. So how do you describe it? You say this is Brahma, Paramatma iti, it is Paramatma, Bhagavan iti, it is Bhagavan. The Sabdhyate, these are the sound, the waves that they create, trying to describe that Tattvam Yat Jnanam Advayam. Understand? So these are all words. We may call it Narayana, Krishna. These are all words. We cannot capture it. Please understand the truth. The truth is people who know the truth, all names are His. All names. There is not a single exclusion. But still, He is beyond all the names. That is the truth. And that is nothing but prema. That is nothing but selfless love. How do you capture love in words? Try to do that. Impossible. Whatever you say will apply to it. But it is beyond that. That is what Bhagavan is. Vadanti tat tattvavidaha tattvam yat jnanam advayam brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Sabdhyate. Slokam number 12. Tat Sraddhadhana Munayaha Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Pashyanti Atmani Cha Atmanam Bhaktya Sruta Gruhitaya. Tat Sraddhadhana Munayaha Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Pashyanti Atmani Cha Atmanam Bhaktya Sruta Gruhitaya. Padangal. Tat Sraddhadhana Munayaha Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya Pashyanti Atmani Cha Atmanam Bhaktya Sruta Gruhitaya. Yuktaya means highly skilled in what you do. When you yukti, we call, when you become master of something, that you're very, very skilled in that, then it's called yukti. And jnana vairagya yuktaya, one who has become very skilled in vairagyam. Vairagyam, the moment you do vairagyam, jnanam automatically comes with that. The be able to attach to the lotus feet, that skill, highly skilled in doing that, like Dhruva's mother was, for example, right? So we must think, people immediately, whatever happened, they immediately hold on to Bhagavan's lotus feet. Like Taraja was, right? Whatever happened, doesn't matter. Even the whole world may come crashing down, they hold on to Bhagavan immediately. Or Draupadi was, right? Even though Draupadi hesitated a second, but she did. So, like that, Jnana Vairagya Yuktaya. What is the Jnanam? There is no other refuge, Swami. Anyata Sharanam Nasti. There is no other refuge. No other refuge. That Jnanam. And with that Jnanam comes the Vairagyam of attaching to that only one refuge that is really available. Nothing else is a refuge. With that Yuktaya, becoming skilled at that, Munayaha. These Munivargal, Muni means one who is committed and persevering and got the objective of attaining mukti, which is freedom from the bondage. That Munayaha, Sraddhadana, that entity, that we call as Brahma, Paramatma, Bhagavan and all that entity, these Munayaha Sraddhadana, they are highly committed with Sraddhai. what do? The moment they become skilled at it, and bhaktya, atmanam bhaktya, with the self-effulgent Bhagavan seated in the heart, in their own hridayam, and loving that Bhagavan there, keeping him there, putting him in that nice throne, the simhasanam, whatever you want to call it, lotus feet, whatever, he's seated there in the lotus of your heart, of your hridayam, and loving him, bhaktya, and sruta, and listening to him, because he is talking to you all the time. Not a single moment he keeps silent. Okay? He's always talking to you, guiding you, protecting you, right? Even when I make mistakes, yes, if I fall down, I have to get hurt. That is a law. But he protects. He makes sure my wound gets better. He makes sure that I get additional knowledge. Slowly he is guiding all the time. Sruta, grihitaya. Once I listen to Bhagavan's sweetest voice, sweetest message, and he is the true friend, Suhrit. He is the one who's really got my welfare, my well-being in his heart. Absolutely selfless. Whatever he tells me to do is for my benefit. And that Suhrit, though I listen to him, Srutaha, I love him, then I absorb, imbibe what he tells me. I imbibe that love, the sweetness of his voice, the sweetness of the message. I imbibe that. When I do that, what happens? Atmani pasyanti. You experience, you touch, you see, you cognize, and you get immersed in the true Atma within you, which is nothing but love. The message. Then you become, in reality, what does this mean? You become more and more and more loving. Disposition becomes very loving. Your mental thoughts are loving. Words are sweet and loving. Actions are sweet and loving. Automatically it happens. Beautifully you start ripening. And for that, yuktaya, jnana vairagya yuktaya, sraddhadhana, bhaktya, sruta, grihitaya. Very important. Listen to the conscience within us. Very important. We cannot ignore it. So that is what happens. And when you listen to Bhagavatam, the stories and glories of Bhagavan, automatically the sweetness of the Lord gets into you beautifully. And you don't, automatically all these other things take place. The skill, the jnana vairagyam, all the things start happening by themselves. One by one, they all come and become stronger and stronger and stronger. That is the power of Bhagavatam. That is why it is called the panacea. The three types of illnesses, it is a cure for it. Okay, right in the beginning, in the prayer itself, it was said. Tat sadadhana munayaha jnana vairagya yuktaya pasyanti atmani cha atmanam bhaktya sruta gruhitaya. We'll just read slokam 13 and we'll take it up tomorrow. This Swami is great. Ataha Pumbhihi Vijasreshtaha Varnasrama Vibhagasaha Swanushti Tasya Dharmasya Samsiddhihi Hari Toshanam. Ataha Pumbhihi Vijasreshtaha Varnasrama Vibhagasaha Swanushti Tasya Dharmasya Samsiddhihi Hari Toshanam. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastalokaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.